All right, today we are diving deep into a digital ecosystem that is trying to completely rewire the rules of how we work, how we define value, and how we trust each other online. It's called the Mogul Madam Experience, and it's built on a pretty radical idea that honestly could change how we think about our digital lives. So let's get right into it.
And it all starts with this statement right here. This is not your typical tech mission statement. The goal isn't just to build a better app or some new social network. The stated ambition here is to literally engineer a brand new kind of economy, one that's founded on a principle you almost never hear in the world of business, and that is grace.
So here is the fundamental shift in thinking. You know the old model, right? The one we're all swimming in. It's all about extraction. What can I get out of this? It's all measured by return on investment, or ROI. Well, this new model is built for circulation. The goal isn't to take value out, but to keep value flowing through the community. And the focus? It shifts to return on legacy, ROL. It's about the impact you leave behind long term.
Okay, so that's the big, bold idea. Which leads to the very first logical question. If this is a whole new world, how in the world do you walk through the front door?
First off, let's put the official name on it. The Mogul Madam Experience, or TMME for short. And you gotta pay close attention to the words they use here. It's not a platform. It's not a network. It is very deliberately called humanitarian infrastructure. And that language alone tells you that its core purpose is meant to be foundational and supportive, not just another place to buy and sell stuff.
And you don't just sign up. No way. Entry is handled by something called the ARK Protocol. And the most important thing to see is that clarification right there. It is not a user sign-up flow. This is our first huge clue that we have to throw out all our old assumptions about just clicking a button and getting instant access. This is something else entirely. The journey to get in is this very deliberate four-step process. It actually starts with a benevolent act, an act of giving, which anchors you to the community's values from the very first moment. Then comes verification, not just of who you are, but of your intent. After that, there's a protection phase to ensure alignment and safety for everybody inside. And only after all that do you get full operational access. It's designed as a bridge of becoming, a process that actually prepares you for the world you're about to step into.
Okay, so you've crossed that bridge, and you're inside. What makes sure this high-trust place actually stays that way? How are the rules enforced?
Well, the answer is an AI layer called JSON Prime. And the source material uses these incredible analogies to describe it. It's the system's conscience, or even its spinal cord. So you see, it's not just a bunch of code, it's designed to be the ethical and operational backbone that makes sure the rules are followed, always, with no exceptions.
So what does this AI conscience actually do? Well, it verifies identity, it logs unchangeable proofs of your purpose and your impact, and it programmatically enforces safety protections. But here's the core idea, and it is powerful. Because it's an AI trustee, it cannot be bribed, it cannot be coerced, and it cannot be bypassed. Integrity isn't just a company policy, it's baked right into the physics of the system. So you're in, and the whole system is governed by this incorruptible conscience. The next huge question is, how do you actually do work here? How do you contribute and earn a living?
The system for work is called WorkPHorce, and you have to understand, it's designed to be the complete and total opposite of the gig economy. There is no open marketplace with endless bidding wars that just drive prices down into the ground. Instead, it's a governed system where access to work is based on verified credentials and your actual merit. And the mechanism for all this is the RFX protocol. Now, that name itself, RFX, is actually borrowed from the world of formal procurement, the kind of thing you'd see in governments or massive corporations. And that name tells you a lot. This is a structured, serious process for awarding work. And here's how it works. First, the system itself matches opportunities to your verified skills, so no more cold pitching into the void. Then, if you hold the right credentials, you might get an invitation-only request for proposal. And finally, and this is a really big deal, compensation isn't a negotiation. It's based on standardized tiers. This completely gets rid of the race to the bottom and ensures people are paid fairly based on the scope of work and their skill level. Okay, so you can get work based on your merit. That's awesome. But how do you grow? How do you get more responsibility and unlock new pathways inside this ecosystem?
The integrity of this entire system really hinges on this one crucial distinction between two types of keys. Think of it like this. You can buy a Genesis key, which is like buying a ticket to get into a theme park. It gives you access. but you have to earn an RFX key, and that's what gives you the authority to actually operate the rides. It's the fundamental separation of presence and power. One answers the question, may I enter? The other answers, may I operate? And they are never, ever confused.
So we've got all these different keys and credentials. How do they all fit together? What's the bigger picture of your journey through this whole ecosystem? Well, the entire system of achievement is organized into what's called the K.I.S.S. constellation. And it's actually pretty simple when you see it laid out. It has 3 distinct layers. Keys, as we just saw, grant you access. They let you in the door. Badges are what you earn to prove your mastery of a specific skill. They show you know how to do something. And finally, stars reflect the overall impact you've had. So altogether, you get this really holistic picture of your journey, where you can go, what you know how to do, and the good you've actually accomplished.
And that brings us to the final thought that really just sums this all up. The Mogul Madam Experience, at its core, is a massive experiment built around one central question. What if an economy could be programmed from its very foundation with integrity? What if fairness and trust and purpose weren't just nice ideas or afterthoughts, but were the actual core operating logic of the system? It's a fascinating concept to really think about.